And we are back with our woman at the forefront. Her name is Nyakeo Geshoke, and Nyakeo is the co-founder and the CEO of Universal Future Frontiers. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Vivian. It's such a pleasure to be here with you today on this cold 1st of June morning.
Oh, 1st of July.
Oh, July, sorry,
Yeah.
1st of June, July morning. Yeah.
It's a really cold morning.
Yes, it is.
Anyway, let's get into the conversation. So I would like for you to tell us a bit about Universal Future Frontiers. What are you about?
I happen to be privileged to be the CEO of Universal Future Frontiers, where I lead a team of very passionate individuals who are passionate about connecting young people of Africa and Kenya to educational opportunities in China. Yes.
Yeah. So if you could just maybe take us through a bit of your journey, you know, of becoming who you are right now.
Well, it's been quite a long journey of entrepreneurship. I did start in employment, but through the years I was privileged to get to travel around the world, and which is one of the reasons why I felt I needed to also play a part in providing that bridge for the young people to experience opportunities abroad. I have had the privilege to travel to some countries in the West and also in the East. And I can tell you that in terms of progress, the East is actually also coming up pretty well. Yes.
Yeah, so you're here today as our woman at the forefront, and this is usually a segment where we just highlight, you know, what women are doing, what women are taking up right now, and this is also just to inspire the next generation of women who are coming up. Maybe just with that, what would you say is the role of mentorship in ensuring that we are inspiring the younger generation?
That's a great question. I would first begin with leadership. And for women, and particularly for myself, for example, I draw my leadership skills from my values and from my beliefs. Now, once you couple that with purpose leadership, for example, where you tag whatever it is that you're doing in terms of work to something greater other than the, you know, the aspect of making money. Because I'll assure you, Vivian, if you start a business purposely to make money, when challenges come, and believe me, they do come, you will quit. But if you have a greater purpose, or if you've pegged it towards a greater calling, then it helps you become resilient as time goes by. And I think second thing would be the value of people, because particularly, and I speak about the young people, titles do not make a good leader. What makes a good leader is the people. As a CEO, for example, I do not think about how many people I'm employing, but rather how many lives I'm impacting. And that also falls on mentorship. You can imagine when in a position of leadership, you're expected to have all the answers. But actually, to the contrary, I'm always learning from my colleagues at work. I'm always adapting because the times are changing very fast. And of course, sometimes I'm just hopeful, you know, that my coffee is as strong as the vision that I carry. And another aspect is of service and understanding that in leadership, service leadership is essential. Without the people, then it becomes very difficult to carry out a vision by yourself. When it comes to mentorship, mentorship can happen upwards or downwards. You don't need to think of mentorship as something that you've got to learn from someone who's way above you. Even someone who's probably younger than you can be of valuable help when handling some of the things in business.
Yeah. And with that, why does it matter to be a purpose-driven leader?
it's extremely important to be a purpose-driven leader in terms of where you need to go in terms of your business or your enterprise, for example, but also because of the impact that you need to have for this younger generation, which is actually where my purpose and my drive comes from. What am I doing with the influence that I have been given to open doors for the younger generation as a woman, as a mother, to bigger and better opportunities? I'm a believer that where a child is born does not necessarily have to dictate how far they go in life. So I think being a purposeful leader is quite important. Yeah.
And I like that. And you're big on purpose. And would you say that purpose and profitability can coexist?
Absolutely. Purpose and profitability can exist, but one needs to precede the other, as I began by saying. As the CEO of Universal Future Frontiers, for example, based on my belief that I need to make an impact at least to one young person, if I can change one young person's life to become better, then I will have accomplished my purpose. So ideally, purpose should precede profitability. However, profitability comes in if you get your purpose right. And if you tie what you're doing to a greater purpose, then profitability is inevitable. Yeah.
No. All right. Was there a defining moment that made you realize that this is the particular path that you want to take?
Do you have all day?
Well, you can summarize it as much as you can.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that I thank God for is that I've developed a very resilient spirit. I've had very many failures. I've had quite a number of instances where I have had self-doubt. But what I can say for me, a pivotal moment was during the COVID time. And I realized it's not just about making money for me. There's got to be something bigger and something greater. So that has been my driving force to date. So I think that is what maybe you would call a pivotal moment in my life, and that is what has propelled me so far. Yes.
And you know, you've mentioned challenges a number of times since we started talking. So it's so clear that, you know, challenges are inevitable. You know, we face challenges in our day-to-day life, whether you are a CEO, whether you are a leader, whether you're not, like we all just come face to face with different challenges in life.
Very right.
What would you say keeps you going?
Time
and time again, you know, you don't choose to like quit because that would be maybe the easier way out.
Absolutely.
But you would decide, you know, I'll keep going. I'll keep going.
Thanks, Vivian. I think for me, one of the things that I came to learn later on is that failure is not the opposite of success. If anything, it's part of and parcel of that journey to success. My faith as well, in knowing that God has got my back, that God will magnify my steps as I take those little steps forward. That's one of the things that keeps me going. Of course, it's not without its challenges, but also it's as a leader understanding the essence of having your team behind you. Like I mentioned earlier, I have an incredible team, including Gen Zs. I've got quite a number of Gen Zs in my office. Hello to them. And they're quite instrumental in just, you know, getting us going. So teamwork really does make the dream work.
What kind of workplace do you strive to create? I can tell already you are one who's big on teamwork, as you've mentioned.
Absolutely.
So just if you can paint that picture of us, so what you are striving to create in the long run.
My vision in the long run and the kind of workplace I would like to create is one where I have dreamers, and not just dreamers, but people who take action. I would like for the people who work with me to be able to actualize the vision that we've set for the organization. But not just for the organization, but also for themselves. Because a vision without execution really is just an idea. But if I can empower the people who work with me and for me to be able to attain their individual goals as well as the organizational goals, then I think I would have done my job as a CEO.
Yeah. Would you say that that is how you define impact?
Absolutely. That really does sum it up. Because at the end of the day is, what are you doing to impact the next person and the next person? It's more like what you call a domino effect. And as a leader, you should hope and strive to achieve a positive effect, escalating or cascading downwards. Yes.
Yeah. From the time you got into this space, you know, the entrepreneurship space, would you say that over the years your leadership values have been evolving? And if they have, if you can just take us through that, how have they evolved over the years?
They have certainly evolved. Like I told you earlier, for me, the entrepreneurial space began at a very young age. I was employed for quite some time, but after that, I got into entrepreneurship. And with time, what has happened, it has morphed depending also on the changing times. One of the things that has impacted the same is the fact that technology is changing. I mean, previously, we would say maybe it would take a decade for technology to morph. But now, every 3 months, you know, things are changing and things are moving. It has necessitated for me to change how I do things in terms of my adaptability, in terms of probably changing what is not working and adapting to a new way of doing things. And I think for me, that is one of the things that I'm also advocating for as a business person, as an entrepreneur. Don't be too fixated on a particular way of doing things. If it's not working, it's not working. But if it's working with some challenges, I mean, you could always try and navigate around them. But do not, you know, have burnout, particularly if it's not working. So I think for me, it has changed over the years. I've also come to appreciate there's, to take it easy. We take it too seriously, you know, where you're really, really holding on. And sometimes you just need to take a breather and, you know, the ideas or the solutions will come to you. Or sometimes you just have to let go of the, you know, of whatever it was that you had ventured into.
So you just allow yourself to just be.
To some extent, Vivian, I do. I trust the process. I know that's such a cliche, but I trust the process. I am one person who, as the saying goes, don't go, you know, where the path may lead. Instead, go in there and create your own path and leave a trail. That has been me. You know, even with Universal Future Frontiers, for example, it's something that has not really been done. So we're really just working our way through and morphing based on the needs and based on the times. Yes.
A lot of people, I wanted to say women, but altogether, a lot of people maybe sometimes shy away from the ideas they have because sometimes they tend to look like they are so big and it may seem so far-fetched. And I'm sure this speaks to so many people that sometimes you just feel like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm thinking it, but can I really achieve it? Like, what would you say to such a person who feels like the idea is quite far-fetched?
I'll tell you something, I can relate to that in so many ways. I call it failure to launch. You know, you've got everything down on paper, you've got everything in your head, but just to take that initial step is what really holds people back. And it's a number of factors, but of course fear is one of the factors. But I would highly encourage anyone with an idea, believe in yourself,
Yeah.
because you've got to believe in yourself first. Trust in God. Like I said earlier, that has been one of the things that have fueled my fire when it comes to entrepreneurship. You've got to have something that gives you hope. And as we said earlier, failure is part of the process. So you shouldn't be scared. Just take that leap. That would be my encouragement.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you say there are stereotypes about women leaders? And if they are there, which ones would you like to just see disappear?
I do not buy in the stereotype, to be honest. I believe that, you know, we're all human beings. We should all have an equal playing field. Of course, sometimes it doesn't play out that way. But as we said earlier, take up your place as a woman. Do not always peg your style of leadership to the next person. Create your own unique way of doing your own things. Like I said before, my leadership style is derived from my beliefs and my values. Plain and simple. So I think for women, that would be my encouragement. Let's just take on your role, take on your uniqueness, because that is what makes, you know, everything, you know, maybe a bit more diverse, as opposed to doing things in one particular way, where it's more of a copy and paste. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, we have to agree that as women, we've come a long way.
Oh, yeah?
To think that there were days when you couldn't just go and open a bank account.
Oh, true.
Something as simple and, you know, something that looks very normal now. There was a time when we couldn't do that.
I know. Yeah.
You know? So what does this mean? Just the fact that we are now able and maybe allowed, though that's the wrong one to use.
I know, but I
but
understand.
it's actually the truth. Yeah.
I do. I understand what you mean. I mean, I must say we're in a privileged society, and I'm saying that with all due respect, of course. We've got countries where women, I mean, are not allowed to do something as simple as even, you know, driving their children to work until very recently, or, you know, opening a bank account like you mentioned earlier. So I think one of the things I hold dear is an attitude of gratitude as a human being, not necessarily as a woman, but as a human being. I am able to do these things as a woman, as a man, or whatever the case may be, and have that appreciation. But yes, I understand exactly what you mean, and it's quite sad that some of these things are not possible for women in many parts of the world. And my encouragement would be, let us keep at the forefront and push. Let us not, you know, bury our heads in the sand like an ostrich and assume that these things are not happening. As women leaders, let us take that role and try a level best to lobby for these rights that are so basic, as you mentioned, Vivian, to be accessible to everybody around the world.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just speaking from, you know, maybe from experience and from just what you see around, would you say that we are taking up the space that, you know, now we have the freedom to? So are we using that? Are we taking up the space?
I think we are, Vivian. Of course, there's got to be a bigger push. Let's not be individualistic. I know you will create your own, you know, enterprise and your own bubble, and things are great. But it's always important to note that we have a younger generation to impact. And like I always say, things like exposure, you know, we do not lack talent in Kenya or in Africa in general. What we lack is access to opportunities. And that is one of the things, like I said earlier, I'm very passionate about. Placing our students and our young people to universities in China, for example, because they are way ahead. The same thing. For China to get to where it is now, they had to send their students to other countries to bring back things like knowledge, change in perspective, to bring in new skills. It's time that we change the conversation, and particularly with China. I mean, it has worked for us bringing in goods and equipment in the past, and it's worked great. But what are we passing down to this next generation? Do they also need to bring things in a shipping container? No, we need to have them bring back skills, bring back knowledge, bring back new ideas and perspective. So I think that's an important thing as mothers and as parents and as women in leadership. Let us impact our children based on the changing times. Like I said, technology is here. We cannot fight it. We cannot resist it. It's here to stay. Let us guide our children, even in the pathways when it comes to their education. There's absolutely no point for children to study things that are becoming obsolete. Don't you agree, Vivian? Yeah. They need to now get into the space of climate tech, for example, or AI ops. That is the direction. The demand has changed. Like the famous book, Who Moved My Cheese? The cheese has moved, and it's time for us to realize that as leaders in our capacity. And I'm not just speaking about leadership in the enterprise. I'm talking about leadership in the family, as a big sister, as a big brother. That's the impact that we need to have on that generation in a more structured way. Yeah.
And there has been a conversation on brain drain, and being that you are more or less in that kind of field whereby you're advocating for our students to go out there, see what's happening outside our borders and all. What would be your take on that? That we are taking out or we are sending away our best brains.
Yeah, you're right, Vivian. Now, brain drain is when you have educated your children within your borders and they go and study abroad. My advocacy is have them study abroad, and not to say that our universities are not good enough. I'm a student, former student of the University of Nairobi. We have great universities. However, there is opportunity out there for our children to go and study in China, like I said. However, my advocacy is for them to bring back the skills to Kenya and to Africa. So I'm not really for the brain drain aspect. Mine is to say we need to appreciate our country and what we have, and build on it for the next generation and for the benefit of Africa in general.
Is there a way really to ensure that the skills are being brought back and not staying in the countries that they're going to?
Yes. By us taking pride in our country. One of the reasons, and I mean, China has progressed for a number of reasons, but one of the reasons is patriotism and love for country. If we can harness that aspect as the older generation to impact the younger generation, absolutely, they will want to come back home. I don't know if you've noticed that there's a surge of people going back to the rural villages and setting up, their lives there. And the people within our age bracket, something that would never have happened before. So there is, and you'll find even people in Europe and in the US are finding and tracing back their steps back to Africa. There's a reason behind it. There's magic in Africa. Let's build Africa.
And with that, what would you say are opportunities that are available in the country and across the continent for young entrepreneurs?
I think, Vivian, one of the things that I've come to realize is that opportunity is everywhere. You ideally just need to probably quieten the noise and look at what is around you. Opportunity comes in different forms. It doesn't have to come in the form of, what the other person is doing. If you look in your immediate environment, believe me, you will find opportunity. Be bold enough to take that step. things like manufacturing, for example, which is one of the things that will propel us to, you know, the levels of an industrialized country, like we would like to do, let us encourage cottage industries, where instead of, for example, I'm a tea farmer myself, and what we do is, you know, we ship everything in its raw form. There's really no money there. But you've seen what's happening in Murang'a through the governor of Murang'a, Kangata. Now there's value addition to the same tea. There's brand positioning, which now makes the, you know, the price point of that same tea to multiply almost 100-fold. That is opportunity, but it's the same tea. So everything that we need is actually around us. All we have to do is quieten the noise and take that bold step.
I love that. The opportunities everywhere, you know. You just have to ensure that you are taking them up and able to notice them and see them.
Absolutely.
I like that.
Absolutely.
If you were to mentor your younger self, what would you say to her?
Be present. Be present. We're always, you know, I mean, if I was mentoring myself, I would say just be present. In the time that you're in the season that you're in, be present and do not fear to forge ahead. Believe me, the universe conspires, God works his magic and will bring you the resources that you need. Do not be curtailed by the fact that you probably need money to start a project. Actually, it's the reverse. Start it. Start it, and God will meet you along the way. The universe will conspire and ensure that that vision is carried through. Yeah, and I'd also say do not fear failure. Like I said, failure is not the opposite of success. It's part and parcel of the process. Yes.
I like that.
Thank you.
You clearly are purpose-driven, right? And that was our whole, the basis of our conversation today. And, you know, being a purpose-driven leader, how do you also get to ensure that, you know, the organization that you're in or the team that you're leading are also just as purpose-driven and not just on achieving, you know, the goals or the business goals?
I think that's one of the challenges when you're at position of leadership. And I believe that it starts with you. It starts with the head and cascades down. It doesn't, it has to be, what is your style of leadership? What impact are you having onto the people that are working with you? So I think when you have that vision and that that clarity of vision, then it becomes quite easy to cascade down. Yeah.
All right. I want to get into your routine. You know, just your routine. If you can just take us through your routine.
You mean my daily routine?
Yeah.
I'm very passionate about, for example, in the morning, I take my daily walks at 6:30. I love starting my day with the walks. During my walk, I pray, I meditate, I, you know, just clear my head and think, what is it that I can do today that is going to get us closer to the vision that we have or the vision that we're building as an organization? Then obviously I'd come back home, see my kids off to school, have breakfast and head on to the office. When we get to the office, we like having a word of prayer before, you know, it gets a bit crazy. And yeah, I mean, it's more or less that. I like to wrap up my day by about 4 or 5 p.m. And this is one thing I keep on saying, you don't have to be a 9-to-5 individual. My most productive hours, to be very honest, is from 6 to about 2. After that, I'm useless. And the same thing with some of my employees. There are those who come into work at 10 in the morning and will leave at 8 p.m. and they will do a stellar job. So I don't think we need to be very fixated on the 7 to 5 kind of thing. I'm very flexible. Yeah, I love spending time with my family. I've got my husband here who came to accompany me here today. So basically that's it. I love having an early night. I'm in bed by 9:30. Don't call me after that. Like I said, it's important to prioritize rest. It's important to prioritize taking things a little slow, particularly when you're at a position of leadership.
Yeah. And speaking about prioritizing rests,
Yeah.
and also prioritizing your well-being as well, are there habits that help you remain grounded on that?
Absolutely. I'm a creature of habit. I love structure. For me, things like exercise, nutrition, replenishing my spirit by going to church. Now, those are the things that keep me going. Otherwise, I find when I do not have that kind of structure, then it becomes a bit chaotic for me. Yeah.
There's something you've mentioned, and it's on, I'd say, productivity. And that's when you talked about, you don't really believe in the 9 to 5, and there's a conversation we had earlier with someone, and they were also for that. They were like, just allow people to come in the time they feel is their most productive time, as long as they clock the hours that they need to be there. Just let them be.
Yes, I'm a firm believer in that, because at the end of the day, what are we looking for? It's about productivity. So regardless of the hours that you're going to keep them there, I may say, okay, you've got to clock in at, no later than 8, and, you've got to leave at 5, when half of the time, they're just doom scrolling, as you call it, So for me, productivity precedes everything. Based on an individual, because I also understand myself. I do not like it if I'm dragged on to have meetings at 4, 5 p.m., to be very honest. So I find myself most productive at that time, and I try and build my organization along those lines. Of course, I do not allow that it's misused. I've come to realize and study my staff and get to know, okay, when is he or she most productive, and I just let it be. And so far so good.
All right. Now we should be ending this conversation, but even as we approach to that, what steps would you say can create more opportunities for women to lead?
That's a great question. I think one of the things that need to happen is the encouragement of the cottage industries, like I said earlier. There's a lot of opportunity in that aspect. Let us embrace these cottage industries as we morph into the bigger industries. Instead of thinking that for you to get, maybe most people would think that manufacturing is a reserve of a certain few, but it's not. Once we embrace what we have around us, which, for example, we've got a lot of agricultural products and things like that. Let us embrace those industries. That way, we'll create more employment. In every leadership role that we play, let us aim to pull up as many people as we can. If you're able to 10, 20, 30 or more, do that. And for them, also inspire them to also diversify. I mean, I wouldn't want to have my staff work for me for 10, 20 years, to be honest. I would like them to come, learn, have an impact, and branch out and, go and create their own businesses and bring others up. So for me, that's the way I look at it.
All right. Okay. I'll take your final remarks.
My final remarks would be, let us embrace change. Let us embrace technology. Let us have a structure to expose our young people based on the demand. Because like I said, demand is changing, technology is shifting every other day. So let us embrace change.
All right.
Yeah.
Amazing. It was a pleasure having you
My pleasure.
on the show this morning. Now, my colleague